All right, here we go, man. So this is why it's so important to figure out your colors before you ever paint. Nice and organized with my colors. I'm not having to like make decisions on the fly. First thing I'm going to lay down is some pink. Now, I never, ever, ever want to put a totally dry brush right into a pile of paint. We always want to be working with a damp brush. So watch this. Just gonna dip, not the whole brush, just like the top part of my brush, just the end of my brush into the water cup. And then watch this. I'm gonna paint the water into the paper towel. And at this stage, I can just kind of feel it in my fingers, or I'll paint it into my hand here. And I have a nice amount of dampness going on. That's the name of the game with acrylic painting. It's like not too wet, but also not too dry. We want to try and find a happy medium. Now I'm going to mix up my color a little bit. So the color pink is mostly just going to be white. A little bit of red. And, you know, something to keep in mind, man, we're all learning. So if something happens that's unexpected or, you know, a quote-unquote mistake, no worries. The nice thing about acrylic paint is it will dry in about 10 minutes. Then all you got to do is paint over that mistake in white. You can kind of use it like whiteout. And then go for it again. Now, I kind of have like a purpley pink situation going on, so I'm going to add a tiny little bit of blue. See what that gives me. Yeah, I might want to rock with that a little more. Now look at this, dude. A lot of times when we mix with our paintbrush, oh my goodness. I have so much freaking paint all over my paintbrush. I do not want to paint with this. So, I also don't want to dip it right in the water cup because then I just wasted all this paint. So what I'm actually going to do is paint a line in my palette. And watch this. While I'm painting the line, I'm spinning the brush in my fingers like this. And that's kind of getting off all the excess paint. And now I'm just going to hit a quick reset. So I'm going over to my water cup. I'm going to stab my brush into the bottom of the water cup. That extra pressure does a nice job of getting the paint out of there. And then watch this. You swipe it on the rim of the cup. That gets out like really big drops of water. And then right down here, paint out some more lines of water on the paper towel. It's another reason why I like to wear a smock. I'll paint the brush onto my smock too, to try and get it to that nice, happy medium of dampness. And let's keep it moving. So as far as applying the paint goes, what you want to do is leave behind a white buffer zone. Okay, I'll say that again. I'm leaving behind a white buffer zone. So what does that look like? I do not want to try and paint right up next to some other detail. All right, when I'm loading up the brush, I'm loading it up from the side of the pile. I'm loading up both sides of the brush, pulling away from the side of the pile. And look at this. I want it to be about halfway up my brush. I don't want it all the way, I don't want the paint all the way up to the metal part. We start losing craftsmanship at that point. So it's about halfway up. Is it tricky to see?
No, I just moved.
I can mess with the exposure too. Is that better? Anyway, this is the buffer zone I'm talking about. When you lay down the paint, I don't want to paint right next to this pencil line here. I want to purposefully leave behind a little bit of the paper. Then tomorrow, when everything's dry, I can fill in that gap with a small little detail brush. So that's what I'm doing right now. Don't paint right next to the pencil line. Leave a gap between the paint and the pencil line. When it comes to the tape, you don't want to paint into the tape like this. You want to go the same direction as the tape. So on this side over here, I got some vertical tape, so I'm just going up and down with the tape. Then along the bottom, just going right to left. Another thing too, man, a lot of people hold the paintbrush the same way as a pencil. It's kind of like choking up on a baseball bat. You know, you don't want to do it. Okay, you're losing all your power. We're not making a drawing, we're making a painting. So it's going to feel weird at first, but try holding it a little bit further back like that. And another thing too with the paintbrush, I'm going to be holding it straight up and down as well. If you hold the paintbrush straight up and down, the paint's actually going to show up where you want it to. If I am painting at an angle like this, kind of how we hold our pencil, it's very difficult to see what I'm doing. I might accidentally go over top of a pencil line that I don't want to.